So the next thing I want to talk about today is how does sun exposure help improve blood pressure? So we know from studies that sunlight helps lower blood pressure. So simple, just go outside more. One of the reasons why the sunlight is so helpful in lowering blood pressure is that we make vitamin D when we're in the sun. Here in Wisconsin, we only will make vitamin D when we're exposed to UV light. So that's a pretty small window from like May to early September where there's enough UV light for you to make adequate levels of vitamin D. And so what that means is the rest of the year, you have to work pretty hard. You're not going to make any vitamin D when you go outside. So you need to use other techniques if you want to optimize vitamin D levels. But the sunlight is very important. So just beginning to institute a practice of going outside, especially during the growing season. But even outside of the growing season, there's other ways that sunlight helps lower the blood pressure. We know that when we're exposed to light, we get a sense of well-being, we make opioids. There's something called nitric oxide that we make when we're in the UVA light, which is part of the UV spectrum. And nitric oxide is very helpful for lowering blood pressure as well. You can buy nitric oxide test strips, urine test strips, like on Amazon, for example, and test your nitric oxide level. And then if you needed to increase it, obviously either you could get a UV sun lamp with UVA, or you could take a nitric oxide supplement that supports healthy nitric oxide production. So there's a few different ways that sunlight appears to be really beneficial for lowering the blood pressure. I have another webinar about vitamin D and sun exposure. So if you want to do a deep dive, you have a lot of questions about vitamin D, that would be a good resource.